welcome to another episode of Beyond the Black Rims. I'm Mars Girl.
I'm Josh Knight the First.
This is Season 5, Episode 20.
Or Episode 114 if you're counting.
Alright, new episode, yay!
Alright, woo!
Everybody's here, hope everybody's doing well, hope we're coming in loud and clear. I'm sure you guys will tell me if we're not. Thank you, as always, to our Patreon contributors over at patreon.com/MarsGirl who make this show and all my other programs happen every single week. And you guys are making sure that we stay alive, quite frankly.
Pretty much, yeah.
This is my first couple of weeks trying to do this as my full-time day job, really.
And how's that going?
Really better than expected, actually. And I went back and scheduled a whole bunch of older episodes, not only of this show, but also of Seeing Sentai and a bunch of request reviews to all go up day after day after day over on channelawesome.com, so a whole bunch of new people might be coming in on this who perhaps haven't seen this yet. So if this is your first time here live, or maybe even not live, cool, hi, and I hope you guys are coming down here every Thursday at 9 p.m. Central so that we can all hang out together and do the Q&A afterwards live, because otherwise you're not going to get to see those live. So what else is going on before we get into news topics?
Fallout
4.
Fallout is out.
The
fall is out. 4. Yes.
Stop trying. I was really excited, much like many other people. However, money is no. And so buying...
But that didn't stop you, though.
No, because I didn't purchase it. I rented it today. I really would have preferred to have done this on PC. However, I rented it for PS4. I'll maybe spend 5 days with it, because I don't want to rack up a whole lot in rental fees. And actually, maybe sometime after the show this evening, I might start up a little bit of Fallout 4 and see where that goes. And in fact, tomorrow I'm supposed to be doing some Fallout 4 commentary right alongside of Tainted Reality Gaming. I'll try and make sure you guys get information about where that's going to be, the exact link that's going to show up at.
That'll be tomorrow evening.
Yeah, tomorrow evening. To the best of my knowledge, it's going to be somewhere between 8:30 and 9 p.m. Central in the evening that we'll be doing that. So, yes, there will be all kinds of Fallout 4 from us for a couple of days. Other than that, what else has been...
let's see, I actually managed to I've been waiting for a sale finally popped up here at the beginning of November, got my hands on the Rival, series. This is the, Apollo. As you guys can see, this sucker is not for kids. This is a really big grip. This thing's a big gun. We actually test fire this on each other as we do with all of our Nerf guns. This sucker hurts. It leaves little welts.
Very little welts. They're not that bad.
But if I still had to compare it, Mega Darts from the Mega Bow hurt more.
They do, I would agree. But then again, I sort of accidentally shot you in the neck with it, and that's not a great place.
I've been shot in the neck, the stomach, and the crotch with that thing. It hurts.
Yeah, okay, it hurts.
Yeah, and
yes, it hurts.
Mind you, this does leave a little welt. It stings, but it wears off a little quicker than the Mega Darts. I'm wondering how well that's going to hold up when we get a hold of the Zeus, which is the motorized, larger version.
I can't help but feel like the Zeus probably hurts more because it's motorized.
Because it's sped up. It's got to hurt more.
Yeah. Past that, it is true, we did go and see Gem and the Holograms.
Oh, so you gotta let everybody know about that. Everybody's gotta know on the internet. No, we tweeted about it. We let people know.
We tweeted about it, and it was not a good movie.
It was terrible.
We only saw it because it moved over to our local dollar theater, because it's really not in its normal theatrical running anymore.
Let's clear the air about that. Some people are like, well, how did you guys see it? I thought they took it out. No, they did take it out of main run theaters. Where we went to was a dollar theater, which basically counts as second run and doesn't really account for much as far as the gross total take-in of the movie. So, as one person on Twitter put it, we probably doubled their income having to see it for $1.25.
Yeah, $1.25, spending a total of $2.50.
$2.50 to go see that movie.
Yeah.
Which still feels like we overpaid. But as soon as we got home, you immediately got on camera. And wow.
See, the only reason why you're not seeing that vlog up right now is because I'm nearing completion of the review of Tattooed Teenage Alien Fighters of Beverly Hills, from Beverly Hills, in Beverly Hills, at Beverly Hills. They're somewhere around the Beverly Hills vicinity.
Tattoo teenage a-holes, yeah.
Tattooed teenage a-holes. So once that's done, which I expect will be tomorrow, you can also expect really fast churn out of that vlog, which just needs some minor tampering, and then it'll.
You soloed that for like half an hour.
Mostly because I had to sit there and think, like, man, parts of it were so bad. How can I even describe what it was I was looking at?
Would you actually say that watching that made you ill?
It did literally. I got a migraine after that, and my stomach really hurt. Now, that could have been due to other things throughout the day.
I blame the movie.
Let's attribute it to Jem.
I blame John Chu.
Yeah. Blame John Chu, who, you remember what your brother told us, like, the day after the movie launched, he had to do some keynote speech somewhere about how awesome it was to be a filmmaker, but it was too hard to stand up there and give that keynote speech when you had a movie in theaters right then and there bombing.
And everybody in the room knew it,
yeah.
Including you. Yeah.
It's kind of hard to stomach. In any case, so those are a number of the things that have been going on with us this week. We should probably at least go ahead and list off the main news stories we're going to be talking about.
I'm ghosting tonight.
You are kind of ghosting tonight, eh? That will probably reduce as we get some other images up.
We'll work on it.
In any case, so our first news story of the evening is going to be in regards to Overwatch.
Yes, Overwatch. So, a lot of information came out about this game, Overwatch, just this weekend at BlizzCon. This very highly anticipated, competitive, still team-based shooter coming out of Blizzard. We're going to talk to you guys about the price, about the characters, and what this is going to be bringing to the gaming arena.
Secondary story is going to be in regards to MST3K, or Mystery Science Theater 3000, which has a Kickstarter going on right now to bring the series back, potentially. Maybe make its way back on air somewhere with some producers, maybe. There's a pretty big following out there that wants this to actually be a thing, and I'm in on it. I know this circle here is a pretty big MST3K group, so seems like a perfect opportunity to talk about it.
And then our last story of the evening, we'll be upfront. Usually we have sometimes a hard week trying to figure out, well, what's going to be our third story, and then lo and behold, Nintendo made it easy for us.
They sure did.
With a Nintendo Direct today, with a lot of different announcements about different games coming out for the Wii U, for the 3DS, and one announcement in particular that if you were on Twitter at any point within the last, 4 hours or so, you probably couldn't ignore it. Mm-hmm. You guys know what I'm talking about.
I'm sure you do. Yeah. In any case, those are going to be our major stories, but we do have a few follow-up stories we want to talk about.
Follow-ups! Alright, let's do this.
Why do you do that? Go.
Just stop. I'm gonna do the thing. Okay, so first follow-up. So we've talked to you guys, of course, about Hatsune Miku many times here on the show, and we talked about her very odd performance there on the Letterman show.
Yes.
Which was to promote her concert there in New York. Well, it turns out that the concert might be coming to your area.
It's coming kind of to our area.
Somewhat. So, she has a concert tour that will be hitting up 6 North American cities starting next year. Tickets for this are going to go on sale on the 20th, so that gives you guys 8 days to scrounge, steal, or otherwise get a hold of some money for these concert tickets, and the venues are as follows. They will be hitting up Seattle on April 23rd, San Francisco on April 30th, Los Angeles on May 6th, Dallas on May 14th, Toronto, May 20th, and New York City on May 28th.
Those are the cities, not the venues, but that's fine.
Yeah, you'll figure it out from there.
Yes.
But you guys can go ahead and go online, find out where, how much those tickets are going to be, and hopefully, if we can manage to, we would like to go and attend.
Yeah, Dallas is a 5-hour drive, but it's going to be the closest thing to us. So.
And really, since that's the only Texas stop, it will draw all Miku fans from all over the state, and I imagine a little further out.
Yeah, since, that's a pretty short leg for such a large continent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Alright, so moving on to a little bit of live-action adaptation news. With the DreamWorks Ghost in the Shell movie, we've got a second cast member added, and this is actor Pilu Asbæk. who's an actor who's appeared in such things as Lucy, who also starred with Scarlett Johansson in that movie.
Okay.
He will be playing the role of Bato, who is the second in command there at Section 9.
I'm not sure I see Bato in him, however, I really don't know him as an actor. Maybe he's very competent. I'm really not sure. I can't pass judgment on him.
He's kind of got a noticeable accent.
Okay.
So I'm wondering if whether or not, because admittedly I'm not as familiar with his work, but I'd like to see, give it a chance. At least he's got the height difference over Scarlett as the major. They're still not confirming one way or another if Scarlett is in fact playing Motoko Kusanagi or some English counterpart yet. But we are at least confirming that no, he is playing the character Bato. So no worries on that. Alright, moving on to our next bit of news. Okay, having to do with the Lego Batman movie. So it was oddly reported earlier in the week that the role of Commissioner Gordon in the Lego Batman movie had been filled by Mariah Carey.
Excuse me?
Yeah, that's what I said. And then they had to clear it up. Oh, no. She's not playing Commissioner Gordon. She's playing the mayor of Gotham. And I'm like...
How do you mess that up?
Yeah, how do you mess that up? Because, last time I checked, Jim Gordon was a dude and not Mariah Carey.
I mean, they can take it whatever direction they want. That's just not very typical for his character, is all I'm
just saying, they let that ride for a while, that, she's gonna be Commissioner Gordon, y'all want to explain how that's gonna work? I mean, I know Lego things are a little more lighthearted and funny, but that's gonna take a little explanation. But no, she's Gotham's mayor, not Commissioner Gordon. That role still is vacant, but we'll probably hear more about that soon.
I'm sure we will,
to clear
yes.
that up. Okay, moving on to television DC news. So we got a picture here from the crossover coming later, apparently right after Thanksgiving, for The Flash and Arrow. And here you can see all of the heroes there from the CW DC universe. You've got...
You can barely see them, though. I know my picture is...
Can
No,
you blow it?
what I mean by barely see them, please wait, is that... Look how dark they all are. Look at this. Every single one of these costumes is so muted. The Flash is red. It was always the complaint that it was very muted. The Arrow's green is so muted, and then everyone else may as well be their own shade of brown and black. And they fade into this very dark warehouse, So.
Admittedly, they could have done a bit brighter as far as, the picture is concerned, but there you can see... Of course, Arsenal, Green Arrow, Black Canary, Flash. I guess they're calling him Spartan now, Diggle's alias. And then Hawkgirl and Hawkman. The story apparently will coincide with the lead-up to DC's Legends of Tomorrow. And this story will serve as a nice little bridge, because apparently the Flash part of the crossover will mainly take place in Star City, and the Arrow portion will mainly take place in Central City, each being the other hero's respective domain. But very much looking forward to that later on. I believe next month is actually when that's going to kick in.
Okay.
Alright, so we have a little bit of an update for the Final Fantasy VII Remake. So, you guys... Well, let's be real for a second. You guys like the characters of Final Fantasy VII, right? You like them, right?
Yeah,
you like the story, right? Yeah,
it's alright.
You really like the music of Final Fantasy VII.
The music is probably the best part.
You know who composed that music?
Yeah, I know who composed that
Who composed that music?
Nobuo Uematsu.
You like Nobuo Uematsu?
I like Nobuo. I've met him twice.
He's not doing it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, Nobuo Uematsu has officially been declared not working on the Final Fantasy VII Remake music.
Well, okay.
What the hell?
Okay, so, mildly upset about it, but at the same time, does he need to? Because he already composed the whole thing. If somebody's just rearranging his tracks, okay. But if they're, completely reinventing the soundtrack, that's where I'm kinda concerned. You know what I mean?
Because you in specific already had a problem with rearrangements as far as Advent Children was concerned.
I'm not a huge fan of the Advent Children version of One Winged Angel. I actually really don't like it.
I actually really like it.
The reason why I don't like it is because the lyrics to it were changed. It's even more pretentious now than it ever was before. I don't know. But that was Nobuo's rearrangement, and in that moment of that otherwise horribly pretentious movie, it made sense where it was and where it needed to be. But, no, arrangement isn't the problem. I've heard rearrangements of Nobuo Uematsu's stuff before. Like, it happens, and people can do a really good job with what he starts with. It's just a matter of, okay, is that the direction they're going with? Are they just doing rearrangements or reorchestrations? Or are they going to scrap the whole thing and redo it? I doubt they would do that, but I am cautious. There's really next to nothing left for me to hold on hope to. Like I was holding on to any sort of hope for this remake to begin with, really. No.
Yeah, so that's where we are with that. Mm-hmm. Any idea when it's gonna come out? Your guess is as good as us. Yeah. Okay, so moving on to a little bit of Tokusatsu news. So we have a new image coming out of the Kamen Rider Chaser Saga movie. That we have up here on the screen. Apparently in the movie, Machine Chaser, Kamen Rider Chaser, will get an upgraded form of Super Machine Chaser, which he will access using the Rhino viral core memory. As you guys can see here, kind of obviously, it's a gold repaint of the costume with a few more accentuations on the helmet and on the shoulders. If there's one thing I can get on Drive's case for, as far as design goes, is they kitbosh a lot. And here it's painfully obvious that, okay, we need to give him another form, but I don't want to like spend a lot of time building stuff. What can we do? Well, with all the super forms, we just paint stuff gold. Do that. Just do that. Just paint it gold. It'll be fine. It's great. Yeah. Totally.
I understand you're upset about this. I can say I don't completely understand everything because I didn't watch Drive.
Drive got good, though.
I know, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I didn't see it, so I wish I could comment more on this topic, but I'm afraid I cannot.
Yes, right.
Okay,
so moving on to some other news. In Death Note live-action news, we have another bit of casting. The female lead has been found in Paper Town's... Paper Town star Nat Wolff will be playing the Light Yagami role. Now, the female lead has been found in Margaret Qualley, who was on the HBO show The Leftovers. They haven't completely confirmed who she's playing either, but as far as female lead is concerned, that could either lead to one of three people. That could be possibly Light's sister, possibly Misa, or another character they're completely inventing.
So this is a Japanese remake?
No, this is the American
That's
remake.
what I thought. Okay, because I couldn't tell.
Yeah, because we've already had the Japanese 2 movies, and then, the
I'm
L
aware of
spin-off,
those movies.
and then the series that we just had, and now this is America's turn at bat with
When
Death
are
Note.
do we have any expectation on shooting schedule or
Not
anything?
quite yet, just that they've got a script apparently, they're getting their casting, they've got a director.
I am nervous.
I'm admittedly nervous.
Well, we'll see where that goes.
Yeah, we're gonna have to keep an eye on that. Okay, so moving on to some other news. Of course, this weekend we celebrated N7 Day, which is the unofficial Mass Effect holiday, and on that day, we got our next look, very short look at Mass Effect Andromeda, with a small, I guess you'd call it a teaser trailer, with the voice of female Shepard giving this narration, and it really didn't tell us much.
No, it told us pretty much nothing other than, alright, passing this along to you guys who are going off into some other place that we have never been to before, bye! And we saw nothing, and we saw nobody, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
So really, there's nothing to talk about.
That's really all we can say there. Similarly, not only did we get a look at Mass Effect Andromeda, we actually got our first look at a Warcraft movie trailer. And that was...
It's a movie.
That's a movie.
It looks like a movie.
With orcs.
It looks like a fantasy movie. It's so hard for me to look at that and just be like, yeah, it just looks like a movie. Because I spend a lot of time with Warcraft.
Decidedly, you're the Warcraft fan out of the two of us.
Fan is maybe...
or at least more experienced.
More experienced, I would say. I did spend a significant amount of time mostly with Warcraft for 3, and not so much the first 2, followed by much more time in World of Warcraft, which really did cover, although sometimes it reinvented, its own canon over the course of what happened in Warcraft. Yeah, its own lore. So I kind of already know, like, the war series of events that are happening in the course of this film, and despite that, I'm looking at it going, I do not feel as invested in this as I feel like I should be, because I totally understand how it is that the orcs are coming over into Azeroth and how this is a big problem between orcs and humans. Like, I fully comprehend everything happening in that trailer,
and yet
I kinda only so care.
And me coming at it from a movie point of view, just somebody who likes movies, watches movies a lot more than plays games, the best I can say, which is actually the worst I can say, is that to me, the trailer looks about as interesting as the trailer for the movie Dragon Wars looked. And that was very misleading, and if you've ever seen that, I'm sorry, and my condolences go with you.
Well, it just, if I didn't know it was supposed to be Warcraft, it would just be such a generic-looking fantasy thing.
That's what I'm saying.
It really would, you know? And it's, I'm actually finding it really easy to detach my gamer self from my movie viewing self, and I'm looking at it like, this trailer is just a trailer for just some movie. That's all it is. I'm sure somebody who is, like, such a super hard Warcraft fan is going, oh, my favorite things are happening, and I don't care what it looks like, and for you, like, I'm not gonna stop you from being happy. Like, don't mistake that, right?
Yeah.
Like, be happy if you're gonna be happy.
Like, we're not trying to diss on it, it's just, it's not giving us the fizz.
Yeah, that's how I'm feeling right now.
Alright, and then moving on to our last bit of follow-up news, which is having to do with, of course, Star Wars The Force Awakens. We're getting real close to the release date now, and, of course, this weekend we were all stunned because last we were told from JJ, hey, no more new footage, all you're gonna get is TV spots, that's it. Well, I guess that doesn't count when it comes to international trailers, because Japan got some new footage, and everybody's like,
and then we got a TV promo, and then there was more. Oh, and now I'm starting.
And then tonight there's footage on ABC.
Yeah, which we haven't seen. We're not watching right now because we're doing this right now. So now it's starting to feel like, oh, now we're rapid firing all kinds of character information, and now I'm starting to wonder. Because I thought we were only gonna get so much, and I'm like, I'm cool with that. I want everything you're giving me. Because you're only giving me so much, but now I'm kind of scared of how much
I'm a little
you're giving
nervous
me.
because you might be giving us more than I need, because I'm not exactly a dumb person. I can figure out movie plot points kind of fast. So if you give me too much information to work with, I might
Figure
spoil
the
movie
thing
for myself. Yeah, and you know, so we're gonna try and be a little more careful about what we say on the show because we don't want to spoil it for anybody else either.
Yeah. I agree.
Just
with
know
that.
that information
Then
is out
the
there.
Entertainment Weekly issue that came
Yeah, all
out
these new
with
photos
more
and
photos
interviews.
and,
So yeah, all that information's out there. You guys can go to Entertainment Weekly, check that out. But before we finish that up, it would be prudent to say we just mentioned last week, of course, about the fan Daniel Fleetwood who got to see The Force Awakens before anybody else, and sure enough, we just reported that last week. This week, we share the unfortunate burden of reporting on his passing. He was only 32 years of age, but he was, of course, very well loved, very happy that he got the opportunity to see the movie before it was time for him to go. And
in the grand scheme of things, I think there's a very happy story to be told there in that he was a well-loved person, and it was such a big deal that even these people in Hollywood wanted to make sure he got something really special before he didn't get the chance to do it. And I'm glad that everybody rallied so hard to make that happen.
Yes.
Really made him really happy. So,
yes, so for what it's worth to his friends and family, our condolences, and of course, may the Force be with you. But that having been said, let's get right into our stories.
Yes, so our first one, Overwatch, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so Overwatch.
So, you see all these characters. This
21.
includes a bunch of the new ones here.
A lot of new
Because we talked
ones.
about Overwatch in the past, right? Briefly?
Briefly, but now we're going to talk to you guys about it in a little more in-depth matter. So Overwatch is a game coming out from Blizzard to be released next year. Pre-orders are on sale now. The basic pack is, I believe, $40, and the Origins expansion, or really a more deluxe edition, is $60. And it has now been made public that it will be made available on PC, PS4, and Xbox One. Now, this is a team-built shooter of a sort, and Blizzard has been putting a lot of...
So similar kind of to Team Fortress, or...
It's kind of like, the way they describe it, it's like Team Fortress meets, like, say, Heroes of the Storm or something of that nature, where a lot of people will be able to play this, get in on it, But there's some interesting things about Overwatch that they're going to be bringing to this game, and I've been keeping up with Overwatch ever since the very cinematic trailer that was released months and months ago.
Which those were fun, but for some reason it didn't make me feel like, I'm excited about a game. It made me really excited for more of these pieces of animation, if you know what I mean by that.
Now, admittedly, Blizzard has addressed this, because the story apparently, the game, I should say, is very story-heavy. They want you to know about this entire cast of characters who apparently live in this world where there were some bad times, and then a group of people came together, not too unlike, say, the Justice League meets the UN, something of that nature, and then they achieved peace. And now in these times after the fact, fights still break out, and they fight amongst themselves. And that's the basic premise of the story that you jump into as one of these characters. And, of course, the animation was key in getting people really invested. Like, wow, I want to find out more about Tracer or Reaper.
It's interesting character design as well, too. So.
Yes, absolutely. So what they're doing is they're doing a multiple-prong attack here. One, of course, they've got the game. They're going to release a lot of online content, including some more animations to let you know more backstory about these characters and how they fit into this world and with one another. And I think that's very smart of them to not just come at it from the perspective of, oh, this is a game, play the game. That's it.
Yeah. I feel like, in the case of, I want to compare it to Team Fortress 2 only because it's another, team-based characters are kind of slightly different, but they perform their own separate roles, kind of similarity in that sense. I compare it to that only in that Team Fortress 2 already had its big burst out, just straight out the gate, because it already had Team Fortress 1. And in fact, actually, Team Fortress 1 wasn't what made it so popular. It was that it got these incredible mods to it. Like, people, I think to this day, are still modding it hardcore.
Oh, absolutely.
And thus it became ridiculous and cartoony. Then when they made the second one, it was on purpose ridiculous and cartoony, when it previously was not. And this is straight up kinda cartoony, kinda trying to take itself seriously, depending on the character. Each character is very distinctly different.
Now, the thing that they actually said to differentiate them from a game like, say, Team Fortress 2, is that, whereas with Team Fortress 2, you've only got really the one choice when it comes to certain things. Oh, if you're going to play as the tank, you have to be the heavy. If you're going to be a healer, you have to be the medic.
Yeah.
Whereas here in this game, they've got several characters, about 5 or 6 to choose from in those categories. So if you want to play offense or defense, you've got different options, and they say that's what's going to attribute to people wanting to get in on this game. You don't have to be mainlining the same character. You can branch out and see, oh, you know what, I like the way this one looks, or the way this one plays a little better. You can be more than one kind of tank. And to me, as somebody, you know, who admittedly doesn't play as many games, that appeal, that kind of gameplay with this kind of superhero aesthetic really appeals to me.
That, and isn't it true that they're also planning on releasing more characters as time goes? Because this is a pretty large roster. This is, of course, no Marvel vs. Capcom-sized roster just yet, but it sure is getting there.
Right, because as of last week, they released, I believe it was 4 more characters after BlizzCon, adding to the roster some of these new characters like Genji, the ninja there in the corner right next to me, or right on the other side of my head, Diva, who is apparently a gamer turned fighter who has her own mech.
I like the principle of the idea of, like, somebody who drives a mech, who's a very melee tank kind of character. My only concern is, in this kind of a game, typically women are not treated very well, multiplayer wise. I mean, they might only look at her like, I want to play her because she's pretty to look at, but if any actual woman actually gets into a game and behaves like her, they frequently get so much hate so very quickly, and her character kind of makes me nervous only for that reason. Otherwise, I would love to love her, but part of me is, like, scared to love her because of the gaming environment.
Now, the interesting thing about that is all of those concerns make absolute sense. Let me say that first. But the thing about it is, oddly enough, they've made her a tank character.
Yeah.
And a lot of early release or, you know, preemptive reviews of the game, especially relating to Diva, say that she's very fun to play as, and she's all the best parts of playing Titanfall without playing Titanfall when it comes to her in that mech, which apparently she can also get out of and then set it to self-destruct, and then she can just, go around with her own individual gun. But, there's a lot of appeal there. A lot of the appeal also comes with the way that the game is going to make players work together. As far as the building your team works in gameplay, it's 5 players versus 5 players, and when you're putting your team together, there's a game mechanic that lets you know whether or not your team is off balance. Like, oh hey, you could use a healer, or you've got too many offensive players, and that's kind of a warning that'll let you be more readily able to combat your other 5 opponents.
And you can, of course, ignore the warnings and just
if you so
go
chose,
and balls
yes.
to the wall anyway. I'm wondering how that's going to look in tournament-style gaming, or, esports, kind of, like, just how serious Overwatch is really going to get. I'm really wondering about that. I'm wondering what the tone and the environment of tournament-style gaming in Overwatch is going to be.
Well, from the way it stands right now, it appears that Overwatch is going to actually try and promote a little bit more of a positive environment when it comes to gaming, because after each match, they of course have the kill of the game, the play of the game that shows, the best play, and then you can award commendations to other players afterwards, kind of a pat on the back.
Which is certainly a lot different than all of the hate you tend to get at the end of so many MOBA-style
like
games,
League of Legends
and such, and Dota 2, the games like that. And let's be honest, like, some of you who watch me also play Star Wars: The Old Republic. It's an MMO. It's not the same kind of game as this, but it's massively multiplayer online. And unless typically I'm playing with friends, I don't like to play with other people, because playing with strangers is an absolutely miserable experience, because no one tolerates being a first-time player. No one does that, and they treat you as if you're completely stupid. And that is completely and utterly unfun to me, and I'm wondering if these handshake, pat on the back sort of implementations in Overwatch will help the environment, the online environment of this game. That would be nice. I would like that.
Well, I think when you think of it a certain way, it means people really, really have to go out of their ways to be a dick to you.
Mm-hmm.
And that will just show you, oh, well, I can ignore that, because they really... Like, that says something about you as a person if you have to go out of your way to be a dick to somebody.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
yeah.
you know what, be like, you know what, that was pretty cool that you sniped me. That was awesome. You know what, I'm gonna give you that.
Mm-hmm.
Or, hey, I accidentally walked into your rocket launcher attack. Fine, you got me.
Or how about you sure did actually help the team out? Good job.
Yes, actually, they're not just commendations for kills. There will also be commendations for, hey, you were the best healer, or you were the best defensive player. Specifically, again, relating to D.Va, she's got this cool move called the Defense Matrix, where if a character like, say, Reaper, who has a multiple shotgun attack, tries to get that off on you, all shots are blocked.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you just can't get through it. And she's not the only one who has an attack like that. I believe characters like Reinhold also have defenses like that. And it'll be very interesting to see how it plays through. You can, of course, follow all of the development over on their YouTube page, Play Overwatch, where you can, of course, see how each character moves, a couple of promo battles between each side.
Mm-hmm.
This looks like a very fun game. I am very much looking forward to this, and of course there's as evidence there at BlizzCon, a ton of cosplay already of this thing, and it hasn't even come out yet.
Yeah, well, they had reference material for it for a very, very long time.
And now, I guess, for those of you who are even interested, if you go to Overwatch's official site there, I think it's at battle.net/Overwatch, they have a full pack, a PDF that you can download for every single one of those characters should you want to cosplay them. Full references available for them.
That's pretty intense.
That's pretty awesome.
But that's also because BlizzCon loves themselves some super detailed Blizzard cosplay, and they want you to come and bring your A game down to BlizzCon.
Oh, absolutely.
Of course, they also want you to spend $80 bajillion at their event, because that's how much it costs to get in the door for 2 days.
Yes.
Because it's a ridiculously expensive event that sells out in like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So, yes, there's a reason why those
But
things
for
are
this
available.
game, you don't have to pay a bajillion dollars. Just gotta pay $40. And they'll be coming out spring of next year. I'm definitely gonna get on that mess.
Alright, maybe I will join you. We'll
Please?
see. We'll see.
Okay, so let's move on to our second story, which is, of course, the great MST3K coming back to you.
Mystery Science Theater 3000. So, I almost wonder if I hardly even need to give an introduction to what Mystery Science Theater.
Because odds are, if you're listening to us
is.
right now, you've probably seen a couple of episodes. You've probably even seen a couple of episodes with friends who got you into the series to begin with.
Long-standing, way early 90s history of being on public access television, where they managed to, just manhandle some movies that did not necessarily have rights to them still, or if they did, they were super cheap rights, and then they would just literally riff on them.
Talk over the movie
For the entire length of the movie, and the premise is that they're, on this space station because of some evil person, because the evil person changed once or twice, and really, the hosts changed once or twice. Over the course of events. Still the same robots. Always the same robots.
Crow, Tom Servo, and of course Joel here, who you can see right behind Kalen's head. Hey Joel, what's going on?
And of course then they would move on to, in more recent years, do riff tracks, which was really the same idea, just moved kind of into a more modern age of being able to download an audio file and then listen to that audio file on top of a copy of your own movie.
And then from there, of course, we've got the riff tracks in theaters that happen as Fathom events, which I imagine a lot of us, us here in the room and then you guys watching, whether live or on YouTube, you've been to a Fathom event where you've seen a riff track live. Like, what was when we went to? We went to the Starship Troopers one.
Yes, we did, yes.
And, of course, they're amazing, and we've downloaded, Jurassic Park. That's one of my favorites.
Jurassic Park for sure. I downloaded a number of the Twilight movie riffs.
Oh, yeah, that was the only way I got through the first movie, because you showed me the riff track.
Yeah,
that was the only way I was going to watch that movie.
Yeah, it's the only way a lot of people were going to watch that movie.
And you got to think about it. The cult following that surrounds MST3K, 11 years it ran, switching from network to network. That's not anything to scoff at all. It's more than cult, I would almost argue. It's gotten so much wider because after so many years, after so many repeats, both on TV and on Netflix and in the movies, everybody's gotten a chance to watch this thing. And so now when the chance has come up from Joel to say, hey, we want to bring this back. You guys want to help out?
The internet's like, yes!
Oh my god, yes! And
they're 3/4 of the way there already after
it's been 2 days.
After only 2 days down, and they're looking to get 2 million
minimum.
Now that sounds like a lot, especially because they're only producing 3 episodes with it. Of course, they are movie theatrical length and longer episodes of this series, but realize it's not a cheap thing because they have to also pitch this to networks. That and also provide everybody with your subsequent rewards. But actually the goal, I believe they go up to, 5,000 they're hoping for?
Million.
5 million. 5.5 million is their stretch goal to get all the way up to 12 episodes for sure. It does sound like a lot of money, but network television isn't cheap, So, what exactly are we looking at here that people can expect when they back? Are there rewards surely they're good rewards?
Yeah, okay, so bottom line, bargain basement, $10. That's all you gotta give to get in on this. $10. You'll get updates, you'll get a membership card that you can print out.
Boy.
They know that one's the cheap one.
Yeah.
Alright, $25, you get access to the online live streaming premiere. You can also get wallpapers and ringtones. And of course the little printable card.
Yes.
At $35, you get a digital download of the first new episode in HD. At $50, you get Shirty the Shirt Sprite, which is basically the shirt tier.
Yes.
Going on up to $75, you get a coffee mug from MST3K. At $100, you get everything before that and the whole season digitally.
Yeah!
Yeah, alright. See, these sound like good, solid, that's about what that tier should have.
Yeah, because we were talking about the Dragon's Lair Kickstarter a week or two ago, and how not quite balanced those tiers were. These tiers seem a lot more appropriate. And yes, a lot of the money does need to go to the licensing of movies, and realize that also goes to the rebroadcasting fee of movies. Because similarly to getting streaming rights, Netflix, for example, has to pay for streaming rights. Hulu has to pay for streaming rights to TV shows and movies. So, too, would MST3K need broadcasting rights for all of these films.
I love that at the $300 level, each tier has a name. That tier in specific is called the Big McLarge Huge tier, of course referring to the Space Mutiny episode, one of the more popular episodes that they've ever done, where you can actually get a signed poster from the whole cast and all the stuff that comes before it. Like I said, they only need $2 million to get this done. They're already at 1.5 and over. So odds are they're going to be fully funded by, what, tomorrow?
More than likely, yes.
And with 29 days to go, I fully believe they're going to hit their stretch goal.
Yeah.
The full stretch goal of 5.5 million.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that that's going to happen. I follow a number of my friends' activity on Kickstarter, and it was just like, this friend has backed MST3K, this friend has backed them, this friend has backed them. I keep getting these emails, and I'm like, well, dang. This is going places and everybody wants it to exist.
Yeah, because a lot of it, too, ever since, it's gone towards Rift Tracks, is the fan interaction. Because, yeah, it's one thing to be sitting at home with your friends and be like, alright, let's put on the Gamera one, or Puma Man. Mm-hmm. Puma Man's my favorite one out of all of them. Next to Space Mutiny, it's Puma Man.
Santa Claus Conquers the Martians is an old classic.
Yes. But going from that, it's nice having everybody being able to be there in, like, a theater setting and laughing along at the same movie and this inane chatter of, man, this movie really sucks.
Yeah.
And you think about the culture of just the internet now with so many reviewers, I think a lot of them, I would argue, owe MST3K a debt of gratitude to being like, you know what, I want to do that. I want to talk over the movies. I want to talk about how much this movie sucks.
Yeah.
And from there, everybody wants to give back, which is nice to see, because it's very easy to see what came before and then just step on it and ignore it, like, yeah, that was a thing, but it's about me now. No, people want to give back, and look how quickly they've given back. 2 days to get $1.5 million. I've seen game Kickstarters for beloved projects, supposedly, that took a lot longer to get to half of what they need, or at least at this point, 3/4 of what they need.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy to see that Joel, Crow, Tom Servo, they're all more than likely coming back.
Well, you're also looking at behind your head here. There's these silhouettes for a future host and future Mad, which means it's not necessarily the exact same thing you remember, but it's pretty darn close. It's almost the exact same thing you remember, and I'm sure we're still gonna see our same old puppet robots. Like, they're probably not going anywhere. More than likely, they're still up there.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I can't forget Cambot. I shouldn't forget Cambot.
Never forget Cambot.
Love Cambot. Yes.
Yes.
So if you guys want to, you can, of course, go to Kickstarter.com. Just search MST3K Kickstarter. It comes up like that. It's the first link.
Yeah, bring back MST3K. That's the hashtag that everybody's using to go and support this thing on social media as well, and that's part of the URL for this Kickstarter program.
Okay,
well.
alright, we'll remember Gypsy too. Okay.
Well, I can't remember every single movie they watched. You guys are gonna have to do that for me. You just keep listing off your favorite. You know what, why don't you go to Wikipedia and then copy the entire episode list and then paste it. Please don't do that.
I've already got it up.
Okay.
I was ready.
Good job.
I got this covered.
I'm glad. Somewhere in the distance. I apologize, my phone is telling me that giant robots are coming.
That would be interesting to see them rip Pacific Rim then.
I guess, I don't suppose Rift Tracks is ripped.
Have
Pacific.
they?
Probably not.
I guess I haven't checked. Okay, point being, you guys go check that out. $10
Yes.
is the minimum. I just got paid today, so I'm going to do that in a little bit. But yes, MST3K, let's bring it back.
Alright.
Alright.
So there's one last story of the evening, and that is...
Isami, Nintendo Direct.
Yeah, so then you don't need to duck your head that far away. Very simple background here. Yes, today was the Nintendo Direct. Was sadly the first Nintendo Direct that did not feature Satoru Iwata, who passed away earlier this year. But they want to continue on with the legacy of bringing Nintendo's information and news direct to you So says Reggie. And so the Nintendo Direct moves on with brand new and exciting information. I'm semi-excited for Twilight Princess HD. I mean, I watched another person go ahead and play all the way through it in my household when it was initially released. And it was fun, and so for that reason, I tend not to buy re-releases. However, they seem to be doing some interesting enough updates with Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess HD, so perhaps I'll go ahead and pick it up. We'll see. It does look very, very pretty.
Also, along the Legend of Zelda line, Hyrule Warriors Legends, which is basically just Hyrule Warriors being brought to the 3DS. One of the bigger bits of news to come out today is the gender-swapped character Linkle, or not even gender-swapped, it's just a different character.
Yeah, an entirely different character, and now we have no idea exactly who she is or where she comes from, if she's at all actually related to Link or not. Nobody really knows. I like to think that maybe because of the sound of her name she's related to Tingle, but I highly doubt that because she seems too competent to be related to Tingle.
But like, she's female Link and has 2 crossbows and like kicks people, and that's awesome.
Yeah, she looks pretty fun, actually.
Yes, and she will be specific to, far as I know, the 3DS version. I imagine there's plans to make her available, I guess, as download in the Wii U version.
No, it can't confirm that.
Can't confirm that, but I would assume like,
I would not necessarily
people would be angry, like, hey, I bought this for the Wii U, how come I can't play as the new cool female character?
It's a different game. I would not necessarily assume that. I really would not. Splatoon just today, as announced over the Nintendo Direct, got an update with 40 new pieces of gear and new map drops coming. I guess the maps are coming tomorrow. We sadly still do not have a Wii U for ourselves.
But they did announce that there's going to be a bundle available for this holiday season. I think GameStop has already revealed that for Black Friday there's going to be a Wii U Splatoon bundle for $279.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good.
Which is a pretty decent price when you think about it. So if you have the opportunity, you still haven't gotten a Wii U or Splatoon, there's a chance.
Furthermore, so there's an announcement in regards to Fire Emblem Fates, which is technically 2 physical games and then a third, like, DLC-ish kind of game. Fire Emblem Fates Birthright and Fire Emblem Fates Revelation. They're 2 sides of the same story. In its own way, it's kind of like playing Pokemon Red or Blue.
Speaking of which...
well, I'm not quite done with this. Right. But you buy both of them, you then get Fire Emblem Fates Conquest, which then fills in further holes, further gaps in this Fire Emblem Fates story.
Well, for $40, that's a basic game, but this you're paying $80. Yeah, you're basically paying for 2 games.
What you're seeing here for $80 is the big bundle that has all 3 games, all included, all together, plus some cute little bag. You pay $40 for Birthright or $40 for Revelation, or you pay the $40 for one of them. You pay $20 for a digital download of the second one, and then you kind of get the third one there along with it.
Yeah, but with that pack, that's pretty much paying 3 games for the price of 2 at $80, new price.
Yes, but then you also get the third game, and you get a cute little bag.
That's all right.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's pretty good. But, you mentioned Pokemon earlier. It turns out that they're re-releasing Pokemon versions Red, Blue, and Yellow to the 3DS, so that... how are you saying that will allow now for...
Well, they were saying they were trying to emulate it as closely as possible to its original releases. However, of course, you don't have a link cable, so they're allowing you to be able to trade your Pokemon wirelessly with one another, which means that this is one of the best ways now to, like, legitimately, without having to do ROM hacking or whatever, get Pokemon from first generation games and trade them on current generation consoles. I'm not too certain how well they'll be able to then be transferred over up into newer and newer and newer releases of Pokemon. I imagine that will be coming, actually. But the stats of the different Pokemon in the original Red and Blue and Yellow are kind of mishmashed and kind of different than they are these days in more recent Pokemon releases. So it's a little hard to tell, but I imagine that's coming.
Yes. And of course they also talked a little bit about Pokken Tournament, which will also be coming over. We saw a little of that while we were over in Japan.
Yeah, we saw the arcade versions of Pokken Tournament. And it was fun looking. There's going to be a lot of fun looking.
There's going to be a lot of tournaments at conventions. I see that happening almost immediately.
Yeah.
It's going to lend itself to that.
Yeah, it's going to be sitting there right next to the Smash booths.
Some of the nice news I saw was this you've got right here that Dragon Quest 7 and 8 are going to 3DS.
Yes, I guess they already were available on 3DS in Japan. Otherwise, they were only available in the States on PS1 for Dragon Quest 7 and PS2 for Dragon Quest 8. And now we're going to get them on 3DS, so a whole new generation of gamers can appreciate them. Of course, I'm still a little bitter and angry because we haven't seen Dragon Quest X, which is the MMORPG, and I don't imagine it's coming over here, like, ever.
Well, if they're going backwards, maybe they're catching up? Maybe?
Maybe. They have re-released a ton of other Dragon Quest games this past year on mobile devices, and that includes all the way up to 8, although it's like this horrendously gutted version of Dragon Quest 8. But I digress. Maybe depending on how well 7 and 8 sell, maybe we can influence Nintendo and Square Enix's decisions to make 10 available. We can only hope.
Now, you are actually looking very much forward to this. Speaking of Square, this new Final Fantasy game that's coming out right before your birthday.
Explorers, yeah, it comes out the day before my birthday. And Explorers, it's more action-oriented than it is traditional, like, menu-based system. You're running around and fighting enemies, but it does, aside from that, seem more like a traditional Final Fantasy with very traditional elements and musical cues, and you can dress up like older Final Fantasy characters and older jobs and stuff, and older monsters make an appearance. You know, it feels like, man, what are you guys doing in the legit Final Fantasy numeric series? Like, why are you getting this all wrong, but sometimes you're getting your spin-offs, like, way closer to what Final Fantasy is supposed to feel like, you know? For that reason, I'm a little bit excited about Explorers. I would like to play it. I would very much like to play it.
And there was no other news out of the Nintendo Direct.
Oh, come on, don't be doing that.
Okay, fine. So, yeah. Smash Bros. Got Cloud. Let's just get right to it. The internet blew up. There he is. Cloud.
Like,
storms into battle. Like,
I'm shocked that that's even a thing. Quite frankly, how did that even become a thing?
They did what? I'm like, how did y'all?
I don't necessarily think that he was the most appropriate choice, but at the same time, I can't ignore that Cloud is probably the powerhouse icon of the Final Fantasy franchise.
Yeah, but, like, I understand the arguments that have been coming up since this news was made public. Like, hey, like, he wasn't on a Nintendo console.
He showed up in some games. He showed up, like, as a minor character in other games. But, I mean, you're right in that Final Fantasy VII did not show up on a Nintendo console. And in fact, Final Fantasy VII, for the longest time, was this contention point between Nintendo and Squaresoft. However, I heard some rumor, not necessarily rumor, speculation, let's say, of someone saying, well, could this indicate that this remake of Final Fantasy VII might make its way to Nintendo's next console?
Yes.
Or is this really just a popularity contest and that's it?
I vote popularity contest, because obviously, you know, this is... When I first heard about this, it's like, no, this is like, I've seen fan recreations of what this is gonna look like, and then the number of people blowing it up on Twitter made me realize, oh crap, it's real.
Yeah, it's legit. For some weird reason, it's legit. Now, they had a pretty good trailer for it, I'm not gonna lie. He did everything he does in the game, down to all the important limit breaks, down to the summons, down to Omni Slash. They give him his Advent Children costume.
I'm just a little salty that he can't do Knights of the Round, but that's just me.
Well, you don't know. I mean, probably not. Let's be honest. Knights of the Round is ridiculously long, and I always wished I could skip it.
Like I would
probably can't do Knights
I
of the
get
Round.
why Omni Slash is his final smash.
Cause he defeats Sephiroth with it, duh!
But I like Knights of the Round.
But Knights of the Round is a stupid summon. And it
And
it has nothing to do with Cloud as a character. Nothing to do with Cloud as a character.
And what does Smash have to do with Cloud as a character?
I don't know!
My point exactly.
Which is why other people have kind of argued, well, if you're going to take a Squaresoft or Square Enix character, you could have chosen any number of other characters. Take a Final Fantasy character that actually had a game that was fully released on a Nintendo console, such as, say, Terra from Final Fantasy VI, or take Chrono from Chrono Trigger.
That was the next thing I was going to bring up.
Makes sense. Or take I don't know, Geno or somebody from the Super Mario RPG, which makes possibly the most sense out of all of it, because that was the biggest RPG partnership between Squaresoft and Nintendo, because it was about Mario, okay?
Yeah.
It was about Mario. It was a Mario game built by Squaresoft.
But see, I'm totally behind the idea that if they were going to go with the Square character, they should have gone with Chrono. I say there needs to be more...
I would have loved it if it were Chrono. I think that it would have most fit as Geno. However, I would have loved Chrono the most.
And I think a lot of people, like, I get it. A lot of people are, you're like, oh my god, Cloud, he's there, ooh, spiky hair. But, like, honestly, you know, like, take it back a little bit. Chrono would have been boss to friggin' see there in much more high definition, because we've already got the remake coming out for 7. Like, Cloud, you're gonna get your time again for the upteenth millionth time. Let somebody else shine. Let's give somebody else a little bit more time in the spotlight here. But no, it's gotta be you and your, you know, friggin' leather and the sword that does different things. And like, admittedly, I love Final Fantasy 7, but he was not my favorite character.
I understand that.
Yeah, so I'm a little bit salty. I know I'm not the only one who's salty about it. I'm pretzels over here is what I'm saying about it.
Oh man, I really wish I had some pretzels.
No, wait, you gave them to Nado and Stacey.
Yeah, we gave away the pretzels we bought yesterday. Has nothing to do with what we're talking about right now.
Yes.
But
you know, these are all the things. Apparently there's going to be another bit of news for Smash out next month. So I imagine we're going to hear a little bit more about Cloud. And I know
what it's going to take to get him into your game, if he's going to cost anything.
If he costs anything, people are going to be pissed.
Man, we didn't even touch on, like, the Mega Man series
or Star Fox
anthology,
Zero
or Star Fox Zero. Like, man, there's so much to talk about in this Nintendo Direct, and like how you can only get the golden Mega Man in this Mega Man game. If you get the collector's edition, like, that's gonna drive his amiibo price up. It's gonna be really scary to be an amiibo fan at that point in time.
Oh yeah, and then people saying, well, if Cloud's gonna be in Smash, he needs an amiibo too.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I don't know. He might be the only amiibo I would ever buy, but I doubt it, because they're going to go flying off the shelves, and then they're going to be price gouged on eBay later.
Yeah, that's going to happen.
So forget it. Never mind. I never said anything.
Screw it!
We should probably wrap this up, because we're right at the end of our episode. But if you're here with us live right now, please stick around. We're going to do more Q&A stuff with you guys live. But if you're not with us live right now, we hope you'll come out to visit us every Thursday evening at 9 p.m. Central Time over at youtube.com/MarsGirl/live.
And in the meantime, if you want to talk to us during the week, you can always hit us up on social media. On Twitter, I'm at JoshKnight1st.
And I'm at MarsGirl.
And that having been said, that's been tonight's episode of Beyond the Black Rims. We will see you guys next week.
Good night, everybody.